Okay, so that brings us to this topic of complex business structures, which we will be looking at. The idea is that as an organization, not necessarily working alone, but you might actually have to partner with other organizations to work. So, in such cases, what kind of structures can you use? One of the most common forms of this partner model businesses is what is called a joint venture. You might have heard of it. I'm sure you have. You look at joint venture and associate related financial reporting work, income statement, balance sheet, consolidating statements in SBR. So you already have an idea. But we are going to briefly touch on it from a performance management and performance measurement, that sort of strategic planning and control aspect. A joint venture is a separate business entity whose shares are owned by two or more business entities. So the idea is that there's a business, it's a separate entity, but it's owned by multiple entities. So if you and me, we have a joint venture, it means that you have 50% of that company and I have 50% of that company. We both have independent companies, that's a different matter. We run our own. But the joint venture we established is a separate legal business entity of which we own half or 50% each. So you can think of it like that. Why would a company look at joint ventures? It's just growth. There are many reasons here, but all of them, what it tells is that you want more money. If you want to make more money, you want to sell more products, you want to reach bigger customers, expand your reach. You want to enter into different countries. There you go. This is definitely one option for you to consider. Joint venture challenges. Okay, so the idea of joint ventures is, even though it is good and it has benefits and it does allow a lot of room for you to grow, it does come with many issues, both in terms of performance measurement and management, also in terms of planning and control. It's quite simple when you think of it. So you can take a look at all these different points that are given in your text. But what they mean by a snapshot is that they're just saying that because there are two parties involved, two separate parties, you and me, we both may have different objectives, we both have different expectations. We might have gotten into the JV because we see a benefit in it, but our goals, our end goals may be different. So because of that, because of the clash and the conflict between what we need, what we want, what we hope to achieve, what we expect, and what our goals are, there can be conflict at every level. When you plan, you might want to contribute to the plan certain things that they might actually reject, especially if it puts you in a competitive position. If you think there could be issues of mistrust, because end of the day it's a matter regarding people, right? So people from both our companies will be working. So if those teams don't well connect, they have issues between each other. There are ego issues, there are principal issues, there are methods of communication issues, etc. There could be practical other issues, like the fact that your systems, your hardware, your software, your ERP or whatever, your organizational IT systems are not compatible with what they're using. So you might have outsourced, or you might have undertaken one part of a work flow, and then they might be doing the other part, but both of our employees and your employees do them in different softwares, and finally the output cannot be integrated. And then there's a issue, there's a friction, and then which software do we use? Because one of us will have to compromise and take a step back and agree to redo the work. So that kind of concern. So at every level there are concerns, there are challenges in JVs which you need to remember and consider. So take a look at all these points. Even in performance measurement and management, like I said, because of the objectives we have being different or could be different, the things that we want to measure may also be different. So if we are not measuring what I want, but what I want is not required by you, and you may seem that it is futile. You may think that why would I measure this? But you don't know that I am someone who is looking for that metric. So unless there's proper communication and there's a proper agreement, and here these are places where contracts are very useful, because then if you can get into a clear contract and say, okay, these are the things that I want, these are the things we are going to agree on, and then we want to stick to those, then most of these problems can get solved, just like what we saw with service level agreements. So on that note, take a good look at JVs. It's one of those complex business structures when multiple organizations want to work together. Good luck and thank you.